Welcome to Beating Cancer Daily. Beating stage 4 cancer for 30 years still takes my breath away every time I say it. I'm Saranne, founder of the ComedyCures Foundation, and I hope you'll join me for just a few minutes daily for the next 365 days so we may laugh, learn, maybe cry a little as we live our best days beating cancer daily together. There are moments in Beating Cancer Daily where Jacqui and my life collide in the most beautiful way. And today, it's our topic, FUN-ctional medicine. Do you see that? She's laughing. She didn't know that I picked that up, that we're going to do a talk about nutrition, but it's functional nutrition. And the first three letters are FUN. And if you know anything about Beating Cancer Daily, you know that I started the ComedyCures Foundation from my chemo chair, my first chemo treatment, in 99 when I threw a chemo comedy party. So anytime there's a topic with the word fun in it, it really perks my ears up. So out of the over 400 episodes, my recurring guest, Jacqui Bryan, has shown up for over 100 plus episodes to teach us. And today it's functional medicine. Welcome, Jacqui.
Thank you, Saranne. I'm so happy to be here. It's not to sound dramatic, but this topic, functional medicine or functional nutrition, is sort of my life's passion.
So, Jacqui, for the people that don't know us very well, I just want to let you know that Jacqui is a certified nutrition specialist, an RN, a whole health educator, a certified health coach, and she is a doctoral candidate in integrative nutrition. Yay, do I hear applause? Because you know that when we started this, she was not becoming a doctor of integrative nutrition, and now she is. And that is something I just don't know how you're fitting in, Jacqui, but we are reaping the benefits of you becoming a doctor of nutrition versus a certified nutrition specialist.
Yes, yeah. So I'm just laughing because I love the way you frame things there. I decided I have two master's degrees. One is in functional nutrition, and I'm, as I shared, incredibly passionate about what I do. I think functional nutrition slash functional medicine is incredibly important in our healthcare world. And so that's one of the reasons I am finishing my doctorate. So it's very exciting. So I'm very excited for you to call me Dr. Bryan someday, Sarah.
I will. I will be the first. You have to come back onto the podcast so that I can say it first.
I will. So you and I have done so many podcasts together. And again, thank you for letting me be a part of this. And it's such an honor to be here with you for this play date. But I thought it was important to even take a step back because we've done this before where we talk about all these wonderful topics. But then we need sort of foundational understanding of different concepts. And when you were texting me the other day, you were like, let's get back to basics, right? Let's get back to a few. And that was where I decided, hey, let's talk about functional nutrition. And I think it was something that I was desperately seeking for myself when I was diagnosed 22 years ago, because I was so frustrated because here I was, this three-sport collegiate athlete. I really didn't drink alcohol. I was fairly healthy, and I got cancer, right? So I was thinking, and it's not that I did anything wrong, but I thought I need to feel empowered. I need to find a way that I can work and do strategies that will be helpful for my health and even improve the efficacy of the medicine that I'm taking.
I always see when medical professionals get cancer or some kind of major illness, there's this moment of, "Wait, I'm a medical professional. You were an
Yes.
RN and you got walloped." I
Yes.
was a workaholic and not a medical professional, and I got stage 4 cancer decades ago. But I do see with medical professionals, there's this moment of reckoning, and so I just wanna shout out, I know that's even harder generally when it's a medical professional.
Well, I think it's hard for anyone, but I think we all go into this with, "Oh, it's never gonna happen to me." But when I look at it now, I think, "Why not me? What made me so special?" Really, I worked hard at staying healthy, but there was a lot of things I didn't know, and that's where I started diving into functional nutrition and had this aha moment. And just before we recorded today, I was sharing with you one of the programs I'm in about gut health. And stay tuned, everyone, because we're going to be talking about some super fun stuff that I've been uncovering in some of the programming that I'm doing. But
When you're becoming a doctor, I'm gonna I'm gonna say this all the time, and I can't unhear functional medicine. So anytime you feel annoyed about doing some of the incredibly wonderful things for yourself that might take a little more time in nutrition, just hear fun before.
yeah.
And it will start to brainwash you that this is really fun. Even it takes you longer to go get the organic berries, just do it and hear the word fun in functional medicine.
I gave a talk last week to a whole group of cancer leaders that are from different medical centers. And that was the one thing I said to everybody. I'm like, "Oh, Saranne, she's so fun." She's so fun in functional medicine. All right, you're doing this again to me, Sarah. You're getting me off topic. And, and we're digressing. But I just want to say that when I found functional nutrition, things started to make sense, right? So what's really cool about functional nutrition is it looks at the root causes of disease rather than merely treating a symptom. So, for example, if you have a headache, oftentimes people will go grab acetaminophen or Tylenol or something for the headache. Why not sit back and try to understand, why did I get the headache? Is my blood sugar low? Am I stressed out? Is my blood pressure high? Like, we don't really take the time to figure that out. So, functional nutrition and functional medicine looks at root cause resolution. It is a personalized approach, which is why I love it. Personalized meaning I'm going to get to know you. You are going to be the person that I'm going to be partnering with, and I'm going to learn and understand what your unique needs are, which makes, I think, it not only a approach that will help benefit the patient, but it's kind of a beautiful thing.
I just love this root resolution. It feels very mature, Jackie. We're going to have a root resolution. It's very mature. Yes, I love this idea that we're not just going to pop pills. We're actually going to take a moment of self care. And that's what I'm hearing from you, that root resolution actually means, hey, I'm gonna stop the grind of what I'm doing, and I'm gonna really think about me for a second and do self-care. And I can tell you, decades ago when I was diagnosed, I was not in a self-care mode, which probably got me into jeopardy. So I think Beating Cancer Daily's hundreds of episodes are really a master class in self-care. And you really take us down that path of organ self-care and immune self-care and nutritional self-care, and I'm just really grateful for you helping us with our root resolution, Jackie.
Yeah, we are surrounded. I love the way you sort of said that, but we're surrounded with the band-aid approach to medicine. We're not digging deep to figure out what's really going on. We'll just put a band-aid over it and hope it heals. And that's not necessarily going to be beneficial. We have that pill for every ill. And I'm not saying don't take the pills if they're prescribed, but I'm saying there's another way to sort of look at it, because functional nutrition takes sort of traditional food wisdom, and then we look at current evidence, right? So it's not, no one's making this stuff up, right? They're looking at the science backed information. They're putting the principles of functional medicine and nutrition together, and they're building a strategy for disease prevention or disease treatment of even chronic diseases. And so I think it's very empowering. If we look at sort of the core principles of functional nutrition or even integrative nutrition, it's individualized care, which is where we're looking at that unique quality or the unique needs of that individual. And I think that's super special because we look at their genetics, right? And it might not be that we're going through and doing genetic testing. It could be as simple as me sitting down and saying, "Do you have any illness in your family? Are your parents still alive? Are they suffering from any chronic illnesses? Do you have breast cancer in your family?" Everybody asked me that question. And I had a great aunt that had a mastectomy, but no one knew why. And that was because of society, right? Society, you didn't talk about boobs back then. You didn't talk about breast cancer. That was very private. But the assumption was there may have been a genetic component for me. But then we wonder about the epigenetic part. Like, what does lifestyle have to do with it? And again, this is looking at the individual. How is this person eating? How are they moving? Are they sleeping? Are they managing stress? I ate well and I moved my body well, but honestly, I was kind of wound tighter than a top. I don't know about you, Saran, but I maybe slept okay, but I had a lot of stress in my life. And I think maybe that would be something that potentially put a kink in the chain for me. But then what about our environment? You and I, Saran, were talking prior to this podcast about the high incidence of colon cancer, right, in these younger populations. And I feel strongly, and many other professionals like myself believe that the air that we're breathing, the water we're drinking, the exposure we have to toxins can impact our health. And so, in this type of exploration of functional nutrition, we have to consider environmental factors.
I want to throw in plastics, the way we're all eating plastics. If our fish have plastics in them when they catch them and we're eating the fish, then we are getting those plastics. And, that great label detective episode that you did where you teach us how not to eat all of these chemically processed foods. I love the phrase that you said a few moments ago, traditional food wisdom. This is traditional food wisdom that you're teaching us. We are going back to basics before these high incidences of cancer. And look, you and I have over 50 years of cancer survivorship together. It's staggering.
It's amazing since we're only 29.
Exactly, exactly. But there's a reason why. And there's a lot of wisdom that you and I are living by that is getting us to the next year, thank God, cancer free. So I love this topic, not just because it's called functional medicine, but I want to learn more.
Yeah. And that's how I am. Again, doctoral student, right? Because I just can't stop. It's such a gift to be able to be the age that I am, 29, and still learning at such a rapid rate, which is super exciting. And one of the things you were talking about with some of the Health Builder series that we're doing, and even my membership, and even the things we're doing here on the podcast, is we're talking about systems, right? So, functional nutrition, we actually look at the body systems, the systems of biology. And that's where we actually look at the way each system is working. It's very comprehensive. But then we actually connect all the systems together. So if you look at the way medicine is today, we have the cardiologist, we have the urologist, we have the pulmonologist, we have the gastroenterologist, we've got an ologist.
We have the oncologist, we have the gynecologist, we have the nephrologist. It's so crazy.
We have, and boy, are we blessed, right? We are so blessed that we have so many individuals that are experts in this specific body system and experts in treating our needs, right? But now you are more than just one body system. Now we need to find a way to connect it all together, right? How do we connect all these systems together? And so, for example, in functional nutrition, we look at digestion, right? And we want to understand what's causing the bloating or the constipation or the discomfort. And then we look at mental health, and wow, mental health is significantly connected to gut health, right? Because we have a large percentage of our serotonin, which is your calming neurotransmitter, a large percentage of it is actually produced in the gut. So, therefore, if we have digestive issues, we might be pretty grumpy. Because we don't have that happy hormone. But then if we connect it even further and Saranne sees me, I know you can't see me, but she sees me and I'm getting really excited, right? But then when we talk about immunity, is that your immune system is intricately linked to the digestive system. So now if you've got issues, you may be not feeling in a great mood and your immune system could be compromised, right? So this is functional nutrition. We connect the dots.
Jackie, we learned this in nursery school. The thigh bone's connected to the hip bone. The hip
The
bone's
hip bone's connected to the
we learned this. We're just
yeah.
going back to nursery school. That's it.
Well, do you remember the song Head, Shoulders, Knees, and Toes?
Yes, I could do it in Italian.
Oh, really? Yeah, you never cease to amaze me. So so we talk about the individualized approach in functional nutrition. We talk about the systems approach, but we make sure we connect you back together again, which is so important. And then the root cause resolution, really this is foundational for functional nutrition, right? Understanding why things are happening, right? So often I see people will go into their cardiology appointment and they'll say, "Hey, your cholesterol's high, we're putting you on a statin." But why? Why is it high? And it doesn't mean you don't go on the statin, right? You want to follow the protocol with your physician, but maybe you can partner with your medical team and say, "Hey, what are some of the things that I can do and to improve my health so that maybe someday I can get off of the statin?" So it's about understanding your role. I find that after a cancer diagnosis 22 years ago, I was 37 years old. So yes, I lied. I'm not 29. But I had breast cancer when I was 37 years old and I didn't know why. And truthfully, I ran around trying to figure it out. I went to Tufts Medical School. I went and spoke to an epidemiologist that I was friends with, and I was like, "Why did I get this? I want to understand." And while I don't fully understand why I got it, there was an imbalance, right? There was some imbalance in my system, whether it was in my gut health or I had too much stress or I was just vulnerable from a genetic component or an environmental factor.
Jackie, I always say we had those husbands that we don't have anymore. We now have good husbands.
We cannot blame the first husband for everything. Although
It's fun on the podcast, though.
I just so hope he doesn't listen. Like, I know I'll get a phone call. I'm sure.
No, I like to throw that in every once in a while because I remember when we first met and we were talking, and I said I was misdiagnosed at 29, and you said, "Oh, you were in your 30s." And I said, "Well, I was finally diagnosed in my 30s." And we were talking about the life that we had at that time, and we had a history with husbands that we needed to move on from. And so I'm thinking about all the people who come to me and they tell me they're going through a divorce or they have a very stressful marriage. And I'm like, that checks the stress box.
Yeah, it's stressful. The approach of root cause resolution is that your symptoms give your provider, someone like me, clues, right, to deeper understand the potential imbalances in your body. They're kind of signals that something is off balance, that it needs attention, and it's something that we use as information. I think about my grandfather, who was a surgeon in Boston during the Depression. He lived to 101 and passed away. But one of the things he would do is he would listen. And functional nutritionists actually listen to their patients. So back then, during the Depression, they didn't have the MRIs and the CAT scans and all the lab tests. They had to listen to the symptoms, what this person was experiencing. And by identifying the symptoms and maybe understanding where that root cause is happening, it gives the provider an opportunity to restore the balance in the body and help the person improve their health condition. And to me, that's a gift, right? We're not slapping a diagnosis on somebody. We're not necessarily handing them an over the counter drug. We're looking at the whole person. We're looking at their lifestyle. We're looking at what potentially could be hurting their health and creating inflammation. And this is all done while establishing this really wonderful therapeutic relationship. And this, to me, is the gift of being a provider of functional nutrition. And I truly mean this, that when I'm working with an individual, my role is to partner with them. This relationship is not about prescribing a specific diet plan or treatment plan, although we can do that. It's building a relationship so this person doesn't feel alone. And Saranne, you and I know what it feels like to be diagnosed with cancer and how lonely that can be. And functional nutrition, we focus on empowering you. It's not just about the care. It's about equipping that person with the knowledge and the skills and the confidence that they need to make decisions on their own so that maybe someday they can break up with me. So they don't need me by their side, although I'll be sad. And I do make people stay in touch with me. But it's really the aim is to empower, give them that autonomy so that they can be independent with their own health.
Jacqui, everybody I refer to your practice just falls in love with you and never wants to leave. But you do have that great membership. So when they do leave, they could just go into a membership. But you create such an incredible dynamic with the people who do come into your practice. And we're just blessed that you come back to Beating Cancer Daily and give it all away for free once a week and to Health Builder too, because we get to benefit. But Jacqui does have a thriving private practice if you're interested. I'll tell you how to reach out to her later.
Well, I think thank you so much for saying that, Sarah. And it means the world to me that you feel that way about me. But I also have to say thank you to you and to this community that we serve because you're making me better. And what I mean by that is Sarah will call me with a crazy idea of something to talk about. And I'll be like, well, what is that? Like there's certain things that I don't know everything. I know where to find information. But there's certain things that she'll share with me, and I'll be like, "I wanna learn that." And I feel since we've started this podcast that I've gotten smarter, right? I've earned more wisdom. And just like I'm learning, part of that partnership for functional nutrition is knowledge is power for your health. It's powerful for me, it's powerful for you, Sarah, and for this community that we serve. As a functional nutritionist, my goal is to understand a person's situation or the dilemma that they're dealing with, and then step by step guide them and support them through lifestyle changes. A lot of it is nutrition because we're talking about functional nutrition, but it's also lifestyle habits. How is stress getting in the way? How's the environment impacting you? The self care that we do for ourselves is so important. And again, this partnership that functional nutritionists establish with their clients is going to be something that hopefully will have a mutually beneficial experience for both the provider and the patient, but it will also help them maintain their health or prevent disease later on. So, again, it's fun to share this topic with you.
Well, the health stacking episode, I think, is critical because you are going to be making lifestyle changes if you venture into functional nutrition or functional medicine. And not to get overwhelmed by these changes, Jacqui has this great episode on habit stacking and how you slowly but surely start changing these behaviors to the point where they become routine. And this is how you develop this incredible self care plan, whether it's nutrition, it's changing habits, it's adding exercise, it's sleep hygiene. So I love this concept. And I think people think of nutrition and they just think of, okay, I've been diagnosed with cancer. I'm just going to cut out sugar, or I may cut out dairy or red meat. But it's so much more than that. It's what is the tailored plan for your body, for your individualized self care.
It's the self efficacy. That's finding that empowerment. For me, I need to know the why. You and I have talked about the why so many times. It's one thing to have a diagnosis of cancer as to why I got cancer, but it's another to say, hey, if I have heart disease, how is my exercise or lack thereof and stress and diet impacting me? If I have an autoimmune condition, what is it about my gut health? Maybe those years of diarrhea are catching up with me. Maybe my immune system isn't quite as strong. This is how we get the why. We learn about the root causes. And then once we have that information, it fuels our motivation to stay the course, to make the changes, which is why I love what I do, because when that light bulb goes off, you can see it. You see it in the person's face and you see them go, oh, wow. And then they start making changes. They feel better. They improve their health condition. It's pretty exciting.
How does somebody find a functional nutritionist or a functional medicine expert? Is there an association or an index somewhere?
Yeah, there's different organizations. The American Nutrition Association, I'm a certified nutrition specialist. So that's what I do. But my master's is in functional nutrition. So somebody like me. But the Institute for Functional Medicine is a place where you can find physicians that are focused more on the medical care, maybe not as specific about nutrition, but there is some nutrition there as well. So I do work with them as well. So there's lots of different organizations, but I think being an informed consumer, and you and I have talked about this on many occasions, where if you decide you want to work with a functional nutritionist, do your homework, right? Read where they went to school, read reviews about them, and see if you can find some good information because there's many wonderful people out there. They all have different approaches. Some may have an area of specialty that, is a good fit for you or not a good fit for you, right? So you want to explore that as well. But do your homework because not everybody's exactly the same.
I'm going to send people to your website because it is stunning and there is so much free information that it's just such a great resource. But what are 3 things that someone can do in order to start moving towards functional nutrition or get ready for an appointment with a functional nutritionist?
Oh, those are great questions. So Whole Foods, right? So I think if we're looking
That
at,
doesn't mean the supermarket.
it doesn't mean a donut. Look at, I made it funny.
You made a joke, Jacqui.
Okay, everybody, mark this down. Jacqui actually made a joke. Okay. So a whole food is not a donut. A whole foods would be incredibly beneficial. So that means get the ultra processed stuff out. Nutrient density is key. And that kind of ties in with getting rid of the ultra processed stuff. So a cup of spinach is going to be way better than a bunch of tortilla chips. So that's a better option. And then gut health. A lot of what we do in functional nutrition is we want to talk to you about your gut health because, as Hippocrates said, all disease begins in the gut. Your bacteria, your microbiome plays a incredibly important role in all aspects of your health, right? So from digestion to nutrient absorption. And I love the saying when people say you are what you eat, right? We've all heard that. I like to change it to you are what you can absorb. So if your gut is compromised and you're not absorbing the nutrients of all those good foods that you're trying to eat, then we need to find a solution to that. It could be maybe more fermented foods. It could be maybe more fiber in your diet, less stress, no alcohol. It could be a whole host of things, but we need to be able to understand. But in addition to that, I know you asked for 2 or 3 things, but I'm just going to go overboard because I do. We need to sleep, Saranne. We need sleep is critical. Manage our stress. We need to be active, and we need to hug people. I'm kind of kidding. You don't have to hug them, but social connections and laughter and joy are an incredibly important part of functional nutrition. So just see if you can round things out a little bit. If you're a little off balance, maybe you're eating well, but you're not exercising. Maybe we need to ramp that up. If you're eating well and exercising well, but your sleep is horrible, maybe we need to focus in on that. So, and that's going to change through your life. I know when I was in active treatment, I had my double mastectomy, chemo, radiation, that there were times I wasn't sleeping well because I was in pain, or I wasn't exercising because I was nauseous, or again, no one expects you to be perfect, but it's understanding the direction you're going so that you can hopefully improve your situation over time. I just remember saying that once I finished chemotherapy, if I had the opportunity, like if I get the chance to get out of this chemo and this radiation, I'm going to do whatever I can to feel better. That was my thing. Like I was so committed. I was like, just give me the chance to get through this and I will be grateful. And you know what? I am. Every single day, I am so grateful that I feel good. When I wake up and I have a good night's rest, I'm like, yippee, I'm happy.
It's so true. And something you said earlier really struck me, which is what's your family history? In the sense of really think about your family history before you go into that appointment so that you're not just scrambling to fill in a few things on your way to the functional medicine expert. Really think about how is your mom's gut health? How's your brother's gut health? Are people experiencing heart symptoms or immune issues? We're all tied. So, this is the time, whether you've been diagnosed with cancer, you're a survivor, you're caring for someone, or you've just stopped by Beating Cancer Daily because you've heard it's a masterclass in wellness. This is the time to really put you first and start living by these incredible recommendations that Jacqui's giving us and the hundreds of stress management tips and strategies. We really try to present science-backed information, but now it's in your hands. So we hope this has been incredibly helpful. And Jacqui, so honored that you're here. If you want to learn more about Jacqui Bryan, go to jacquibryan.com. If you can't find her, then come to me at the ComedyCures Foundation, ComedyCures.org. Hit the contact menu, write to me, or go to the podcast section and record a message to me. We love hearing from you. So have a blessed day, and I'll see you tomorrow. If you loved today's episode, then tell the world. Why? Because Beating Cancer Daily is a listener and donor supported experience. So the more people you tell and the more people that join us, the more robust and interesting programs our nonprofit, the ComedyCures Foundation, can bring to you throughout the year. So if you have some extra change, I'd love you to go to ComedyCures.org and make a donation today of whatever level is comfortable for you. And it will be tax deductible to the extent allowed by law, because ComedyCures is a nonprofit 501c3 organization founded from my chemo chair, April 1999, and we've been going strong ever since. So please consider making a donation today and help our community and this podcast thrive. Guess what time it is? It's time for me to read the disclaimer. Beating Cancer Daily and the membership circle are not in lieu of medical advice or treatment. They are for entertainment purposes only. Please consult your healthcare team to review your best strategy. Thanks for listening. See you guys tomorrow.